There's no doubt about it, Bangkok is hot. And when people in this city want to escape the heat, they duck into one of the countless shopping malls. Some of these places are mind-blowing, and in today's video, I'm gonna count down my top 5 in the Sukhumvit Corridor. I'm gonna consider the Sukhumvit Corridor the area that starts at Victory Monument and runs all the way down Rama1 Road, Sukhumvit Road, and ends in Bangkok. I'm currently sitting beside the one that I ranked number 1, but let's go back to the beginning and start with number 5. For number 5 on my list, I'm right here at Siam Station, right on the BTS, and it made it on the list more for the area than for the shopping malls themselves, and I'm gonna tell you why at the end of this segment here. But I'm standing right out in front of the massive Siam Paragaon, and this is a list about shopping malls. So let's just check this one out real quick. The minute you walk in the main door at Siam Paragaon, you might be surprised at what a Bangkok shopping mall looks like. Maybe it's the fact that there's a lineup at the giant Louis Vuitton store. Maybe it's the sheer number of luxury shops. I'd actually recommend this place for tourists. It's a great place for selfies, and if you're here at Christmas, they do an awesome job of lighting it up. But Siam Paragaon is pretty much your typical Bangkok shopping mall, and since it's not the reason that this area made it on my list, let's move on. Right next door is called Siam Center. It's much smaller, but also a lot funkier, with shops you won't find in your average mall. They have a cool food area, and there's a place in here that we like to go for shabu shabu. As good as this is, we haven't even got to the best part of this whole area. So right across the street from Siam Paragaon and Siam Square is the Siam Square 1. This mall has a lot of doctors' offices, clinics, and banks on the upper levels, and on the lower level is a small but cool shopping area with an industrial feel. And when you escape out the back of this place, it feels like you're back in Seoul, South Korea. It feels like I'm back in Seoul, South Korea. I used to live there. Look at K-pop music playing here already. It's amazing to me what the success of the Korean movies and K-pop has done. There's Korean stuff popping up all over the place here, and if you want to take a little virtual trip to Seoul here in Bangkok, then pop out the back here. This is why I put this area on the list. It's a great area to walk around with a lot of restaurants, bars, and cafes. There's often different things going on here that include art shows and fashion sales, with stalls right on the street, offering something a little more unique than what you'll find inside. Believe it or not, this area used to be one of Bangkok's biggest slums, just filled with wooden houses until a massive fire in the 1960s destroyed it all, and unfortunately all the villagers had to leave. And it was at that point that Chulalongkorn University took over and decided to turn this area into a commercial zone. And man, they've just kept building and building and building. Now, for number 4 on my list, I gotta walk back that way, but only about 5 minutes. So I just walked right over that skywalk there, and I'm standing out here in front of number 4. This is the MBK Center, and this is a lot different than the other shopping malls on this list and most shopping malls in Bangkok. Let's go inside and I'll show you why some people love it and some people hate it. Rather than the chain stores that you find in malls all over the world, the MBK Center is more like a giant market. So if you're looking for recognizable brand names, there's better malls for you. But if you're more into scouring racks of clothes and bins of various items to find better deals, then you'd have fun in MBK. It's spread out over 8 floors, and at the top you'll find a movie theater and a big games room where I happen to bump into some subscribers from Bangladesh. Hey guys, there's furniture shops, game and toys shops. It's a great place to buy electronics with camera shops and phone shops and little electronic stalls that go on forever. But I'm guessing that the Rolex watches they're selling might not be real here. The food court is popular and was even featured in Mark Wien's famous 25 Things to Do in Bangkok list. Haley and I are here to try it out.
I got shrimp paste rice with a vegetable.
And I got a stewed pork leg with rice, and then we're also sharing this fried taro wrapped in bean curd roll. Each dish in here is only about $2. Classic Bangkok food court. When it opened in 1985, this was the largest shopping mall in Asia. Hard to believe, because when we get to number 2 on my list, you'll see why the MBK Center is no longer anywhere near the biggest. But it still attracts more than 100,000 people every day, and it's popular amongst the local Thais. Now I just gotta jump on the BTS and get to the next one on my list. Can you guess what it is? I'm here at the entrance to Soy Cowboy, where shoppers usually go down this street to shop for slightly more unsavory things. But it does give me the best view of my 3rd favorite mall on the Sukhumvit Corridor, Terminal 21. This sits right in the heart of Asok, and it's serviced by both the MRT and BTS line, so shoppers can have direct access, free from the rain, so the location is amazing. Now, let's go inside and check this place out. So overall, I have mixed feelings about this mall, but I did rank it number 3 on my list because I like that it's different. It's a little bit unique. They call it Terminal 21 because each level in this place is named after a different country or city, like an airport terminal, and it is unique. The best way for me to illustrate that is to quickly show you what they got on each floor. The lower level they just call the Caribbean. Not much to see down here. The highlights, the pharmacy, the Dairy Queen and Daiso. They have a gourmet market, which I'll tell you more about when we get to number 1, because this one's pretty lame. They do have some flash sales in an open area, but let's go up to level G, Rome. This level's pretty boring, mostly just brand name stores, but I'll give them credit for their decorations and architecture. It definitely feels a bit like Rome. Let's zip up to level M, Paris. And this is where you get the best view of the interior of the mall, and it's also where it starts to get a little bit better. But just a little bit better. It's still got chain stores, there's even an H&M, and yes, the Starbucks here is just as busy as where you're from. Let's zoom up to level 1, Tokyo, and this is where things start to get funky. It's this level where you start to see how unique this mall is compared to most. And here's a tip for you. On this level, there's a place called the After You Dessert Cafe. It's usually lined up, but if you can get a table, stop in and get the mango sticky rice bingsu. It's ridiculous. Next up, we're heading back to Europe. Level number 2 is London, and this is definitely the place to shop if you have kids looking for toys or games. And it's also another great example of the attention to detail they put into the decorations. This is a little London cafe. And yes, there's definitely lots more independent fashion shops here. Level 3 is Istanbul, and it looks pretty much exactly like you'd expect it to look. There's lots of jewelry shops and places to buy trinkets. And it's also where you'll find a lot of beauty, cosmetics, and independent bath and beauty shops. So the very top level is Hollywood, and of course Hollywood means movies, but I'm going to tell you right now, the movie theater here is not one I'd recommend. To find out my favorite theater, you're going to have to wait till number 1 on the list. This is a good time to tell you though that all malls have cell phone stores, mobile providers. The big ones here in Thailand are True and AIS. And if you're looking to get a temporary SIM card, anything mobile related, every shopping mall has an area where they're all conglomerated around. Now, to the food here. The food's spread out over 2 levels. Let's start at San Francisco and see what they got. Yeah, I should have known. I'm kidding. This level is the start of the food here. And before we get up to the golden nugget that is the food court, let me just tell you a few places that I'd recommend on this floor. First of all, there's this hot pot place. If you're looking for reasonably priced and good Thai food, check out Havazid. These Hokkaido cheese tarts are to die for. And this is the best Thai tea brand, Chatramu. You'll see this all over the place. We barely ever eat down there where all those restaurants were. What you're going to want to do is come up here to the 5th floor, I think it is. Anyway, it's called Pier 21, and it is maybe the most famous food court in any Bangkok shopping mall. The reason for that isn't because it's necessarily the best. It's because it's the cheapest. When this place opened, there was a special deal where the rent on all of these little stalls is super low. Those savings got passed along to you, the eater, the shopper, and it's a great place to come in for lunch, and really why it's number 3 on my list. But one thing you're gonna wanna know is that you can't use cash in here, so you gotta come to one of these little cashier booths and buy a ticket, get your food, pay with that ticket, little card, and then when you're done, you return the card and get your money back. Bit of a pain in the ass, but that's how it works. So don't go order food and then hand them cash. You'll regret it when they kick you away. Just a little bit of seating in here, eh? This place is huge, tasty, and will only set you back about $2. Now, let's go to shopping mall that's number 2 on the list. This place comes in at over 6 million square feet. It's the biggest shopping complex in all of Southeast Asia and the 11th biggest in the whole world. To give you a sense as to how big it is, check out that guy over there. Yeah, that's him beside this building. So if huge is your thing, this might be the one for you. Let's go in and take a look. The biggest shop in the whole place is their very own department store, aptly named Central. It spans several floors itself. It's huge, and it's a great place for one-stop shopping. It's where I usually buy my sunglasses when I lose them. But Central's far from the only place to shop in here. The anchor tenants here include Super Sports, a gigantic sports store. In fact, the one thing you'll notice here at CentralWorld is that everything is huge. Other main tenants include Power Buy, which is Thailand's version of Best Buy. There's the first Uniqlo store that ever opened in Thailand, and the largest H&M store in Asia. But it's more than just shopping. On the 2nd floor, you can really beat the heat at the rink. And if you're into Apple stores, check this one out. Shaped like a UFO. It's also the biggest one in Southeast Asia, and it's the best one that I've ever been to. But if Apple's not your thing and you're more into the Android, then pop up here to the 4th floor, where you're gonna find all kinds of electronic shops, camera shops. Every shopping mall in Bangkok has an area that's kind of dedicated to electronics, and at CentralWorld, it's right here. But what about eating and drinking here? Well, the food court here, it's called Central Food Hall. It's way up on the 7th floor, and I wouldn't recommend this place. This is one of the weaker food courts in any of the shopping malls on today's list. But if you walk out of the food court and turn right, you're gonna come down to this section, which is absolutely huge, and it's just lined with every restaurant imaginable, both up here on the 7th floor and down on the 6th floor. What about if you wanna have a little drink? If shopping's starting to tire you out and the sheer size of this place has got you thirsty, then head on down to Groove. This is a section of CentralWorld filled with gastro bars, cafes, and restaurants. It's perfect if you want a lively evening with drinks and food. It can get a little loud though, so it might be for the younger crowd out there. And now it's time for number 1 on the list. I'm here at the Prompong BTS station, where I'm flanked by 2 malls. On this side you have the Emporium, on this side the Emquartier, and I'm gonna roll these 2 together into one shopping district, which is number 1 on my list. They're also building a 3rd complex, a futuristic building called the M Sphere, and together, these 3 are known as the M District and total 2.5 million square feet. The first of the trio, Emporium, opened in 1997. It's a luxury mall, and if you're looking to find a bit of Beverly Hills in Bangkok, this is your place. The Emporium's right next to this, Benjasiri Park. It's a small urban park, but it's really nice to just come, chill, maybe enjoy some street food beside this pond. You'll probably spot some turtles in there and see some local Thais hanging about. But my favorite mall out of these 2 is back across the street. It's called Empquartier. As soon as you get inside, you'll notice this place is ultra modern. You'll see a lot of what's known here in Thailand as high-sos, high society folks out shopping for expensive luxury items like these handbags. I should mention that my daughter loves the Zara here, and just opposite, yep, you guessed it, another H&M. In fact, most of the shops here are similar to the other malls on the list, so I won't go through them again, but this one here's unique. A sea of massage chairs in the land known for massage. This guy can't seem to get enough. On the very top level is my favorite movie theater in Bangkok. I wish they'd make something other than Marvel movies though. Opposite the movie theater is this place called Bounce, where you'll find kids bouncing. There's actually tons of stuff for kids to do here at this mall, so if you have kids, this is a great option. On the first floor is the Gourmet Market, one of Thailand's big international grocers, serving up fresh fruits, fresh produce, and if you're wondering if the fish is fresh, this is one of Bangkok's best locations for this chain. It's filled with aisle after aisle of high-quality international goods, but it is pricey. Emquartier is divided into 3 zones over 2 buildings, all looking down on this courtyard. And the buildings are connected through this walkway, where I headed over to the Helix Courtier to show you the Helix Sky Dining. This is row after row of helix-shaped walkways that are lined with all kinds of restaurants and is a great place to go if you're looking for a sit-down meal. There's also a rooftop patio up here called Escape that gets quite busy at night for drinks. But I went back down to the basement to the Courtier Food Hall. This is their food court, and it may not be as cheap as Terminal 21, but it's definitely tasty. You'll even find this world-famous stand from Chinatown here selling their tasty sweet buns. And if you leave the food court and walk down the other side of this level, you'll find some more restaurants and even the dirty trio of KFC, Burger King, and McDonald's. I ordered a Thai-style omelet where they make a super thin egg, stir up some chicken and chilies, stuff it in the middle, and serve it up. And this one lets you pay with a rabbit card. And if you're looking for a place to stay right in the area, there's this place right next door to both of these malls. It's called the Chatrium Suites. Haley and I actually stayed here for a month. It's a serviced apartment, kind of a cross between a condo and a hotel. Really nice place, not the cheapest, but the location cannot be beat. So there's my list, but you might be asking yourself, what does he know about shopping malls? Well, now I turn it over to you. What's your favorite shopping mall in all of Bangkok? Drop a comment, let me know. And if you're coming to Bangkok and you want to explore a lot more than just shopping malls, I've got an app for you. It's called Teeny. It's on the Apple or Android app store. Costs just $2 to turn it on for a month, and it's got hundreds of my favorite spots in there, all with turn-by-turn directions. So check it out. I left a link in the description below. I'll see you soon.